baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Hello and welcome. Another live stream with Homesick Mac. Mondays, Blue Mondays, number 89 today. Good to see you here, guys. Our dearest Norwegian attack. Hello, Geir. Great to see you. Cheers, David. Wonderful live stream today. Wonderful playing. And I was singing along. Well, not along. I was singing harmony vocals on the third song today. Well, thank you, sir. Bless your fingers as well, because we need them. Hello, Patrick. Saying hi to everybody else. So nice. Well, yeah. Thank you. I'm usually not nagging at you to like the video, but yeah, it's okay. It's nice if you do it. Happy Blue Monday. Yes, I was really so stoked to do this today because the topic is great, always. These basics and stuff is great. And then I haven't played for you guys in Open D for a while, so I thought, okay, so last week it was Open G, and today we're going to do the same song but in Open D, which is cool. Good. So what are we going to do today? Slight basics and also some things that I forgot to tell you last week. It just, I went on and playing and talking and everything, so I just kind of forgot that little part. But it's about both part 1 and part 2 of these slide guitar basics, so it's okay. So I'll tell it today. Live blues backups as usual. I will not play the slow blues in E. I will play same chord progression, everything, but something similar to this intro song, Bye Bye Blues, which I really love. So after quite many weeks of playing standard backup, slow blues in E, we'll do this instead. And I've got this great question from one of my participants from Guitar Retreat, Tommy. He might join us today, but if he doesn't, he'll watch the replay. And he was asking me about the capo because his guitar is going sharp on some strings, the big basses, and particularly big basses, when he puts the capo on a certain fret. For those of you who don't know it, capos are things like this, small cheaters, capos that you put on your guitar neck, and you basically move the first fret up higher than neck, and you just utilize it to your advantage. So I'll explain that a little bit later on after the backup. And before we go to the theme for today, because it's very important when it comes to capos and to apply them a real way. So it's not only to buy the best capo in the world. It's just like with slides. You can buy your diamond bottleneck, fantastic glass slide, or your metal slide by Daddy Slide, but if your guitar is not set up well, and if the strings are, not sturdy and of the right gauge, so it doesn't help. It's the same with the capos. The rest of the system needs to be in order for everything to work. So let's go on. Graham, welcome. Great to see you. First time in the new year, right? Perfect. No, you joined us last week, Graham, as well. Sorry, I forgot about that. David is hitting me up with the question already. At some point, can you talk about Almo Blues Fest? Oh yeah, I'd be happy to tell you about it, because it's you can find it online on Bluesfest as one word, bluesfest.net, N-E-T. And they have, I think, translated the website to English as well. It's an annual festival since many, many years back. I love it. I've played there, I think, 12 times altogether. And I'm negotiating for this upcoming summer. So we'll see if I'll be there then. Albert, welcome. Yes, Almo Blues Fest is one of the oldest festivals in Sweden, blues festivals. They have both electric, acoustic blues, electric blues of all different styles. You can get, East Coast, West Coast, jump blues, jazzy blues, swing blues. I mean, many different acts coming every year. And they have some European, of course, Scandinavian acts. And then they usually bring 2 or 3 bigger acts from the States as well. Here comes Tom. Yes. Are you going? Referring to the Almo Blues Fest. Yeah, I don't know yet. I've sent them an email right after New Year. And one more to Tony Berg, who is also one of the people in the Blues Society over there. And what's it the policy they have is that they don't book same acts every year. It's like you get your gig like every 2 or maybe sometimes 3 years. I've had a couple of years where I just didn't get any invitations, and even when I contacted them, they just didn't have enough slots for me to play. Although I know, they like me, I like them, all is fine. But of course, you need to renew the staff, the band's playing, audience maybe sometimes wants new names. Yep. So I don't know. I still don't know, Tom. Hi, Tommy. No, sir, you're not late. It's I've just told people about the capos, and I have prepared. I have 2 capos here to show you guys the difference, and lots of other stuff. Well, thank you, Tom. I'd love to go there, definitely. Almo Blues Festival is one of the best in Scandinavia. All right, time to pair standard tuning, and we'll do this little pattern that's resemblant of Bye Bye Blues by Tommy Johnson and maybe some other songs in that. And then we change, right? So it's the same chord progression as in the slow blues in E, but we're going to do it this way, right? Oh. yeah, one of my absolute favorite grooves. I love it. I could play for hours, but we only have one for this live stream, so I kind of shortened it a little bit. So what I did here, the main rhythmical part is this. So I'm switching between E and A chord. E, A, and then back to E. What makes it jumpy and why I love it so much, and this kind of syncopating stuff that goes between what the thumb is doing here and then just pinching up the treble strings occasionally. So the main groove is this: bass, chord, switch, and then I grab the second bass, which is on the 5th string on the note of B. So you get this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what the basses are doing, right? But everything in between can be syncopated, you know, different ways. So this part is played like. So I play the hammer on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, that's right, together with the bass. Or sometimes I would pluck it downwards like this with my nails. So this lick would not work if you're using finger picks, metal, plastic, whatever you have on your fingers. It's not going to work because all finger picks can only be played upstroke. Okay, all the finger picks that I know of. I'm not sure, but I think that like 99% do that. So I play without them. So sometimes I can do these downstrokes with my nails, and I make sure that I only hit it with the nail surface of the nail. It's like this little part here, so it gets this little bit of a, I don't know, scratchy feeling. So what I'm throwing in here are the parts of a regular turnaround in blues. So right, these are in any blues chord shapes turnarounds book. So we're going from this form of E chord as if you would grab the D chord on the 4th fret, which is E, right? But then we only choose the 1st and the 3rd string, and we play them with the ring and the middle finger, and we just move those from the 4th, 3rd, 2nd fret, and then meet the E chord here. So if we only think 1st and the 3rd string, then you got this. And you can put some jewelry to it, which will be right. And the jewelry is in the form of pull off on the 4th fret, and then to the 1st string, to the open string. And the 3rd fret on the 3rd string is played with an open 1st string. So then you press it on the 2nd fret, and then you give it a nice hammer on the 3rd string. So and then if you combine that with the basses, so I do the exactly same thing on the treble strings. I only add the bass here. And this here, this is actually the chord of E, but with a note of C sharp as well. So it's like also turn around like a, maybe you're familiar with turnaround that goes like this. That's also a classical one, but that means that you're playing the 5th fret on the bass on the 5th string, and then on the 3rd string you got the 4th fret, 5th, 4th, and then you just move that all the way down to the E. And this sounds quite similar to, so I kind of twisted it a little bit and just moved it. This is quite heavily influenced by fantastic Jeff Muldaur. Listen to Jeff Muldaur, listen to Better Days, listen to him solo. He's a master of arranging things for guitar. Fantastic voicings that he does. It's just amazing. I love his playing. So what he does, I think I've this is my intro to Ants in My Pants that I recorded with Sam Mitchell, but that's also very influenced by Jeff Muldaur, because he had something like this. This chord, in some kind of combination, he did it in a song, We'll Find Blind Lemon or something like that. Fantastic song. I love Jeff's playing. He's one of my, absolute favorites. So anyway, that was what I did in this. So whatever I do in between these is jewelry. So I have the jewelry that goes like, oh, I moved from the camera a little bit. So this, so I fool around with this. This is when I switch to the 4th chord, to A. So the basics are bass, chord, and then I find a little bit of a melody on the treble strings, grabbing the A7 chord. Maybe you noticed that I like to hang on a phrase or the big bass, and maybe just throw in something in the last millisecond of a phrase before I switch to something else, right? And I can do that because I've been playing this for many, many years. And I even made some mistakes in the beginning because I wasn't really, warmed up properly and all that. So, I mean, yes, you can do it. Yes, I can do it. But sometimes it just won't work. And sometimes you forget your own licks. Good. So let me see, where are we in the chat? Nothing happening. Good. So I think we can move to this thing about the theme today. But the first part is going to be this about the capo. So let me use my oldest capo. I only have G7 capos. Those of you who are my early followers, you remember that I had Nick Campling from G7 as a guest in one of my first live streams. So you can just go back in the history on my channel and find that one. There's his picture on the thumbnail, so we'll recognize it. Nick is the guy who invented the industrial part, the technical part of this capo. That he found a way to make a capo that when you press it and you put it on your guitar neck, and you press it as much as you need in order to get good tone, that's where it stays. It's different from, let's say, capos where you can turn the knob and adjust how much it's going to press, because that knob can release it, the tension sometimes. It could happen, but even G7 has capos with the knob, so it's not that only these capos are the best. But when I changed G7, it's just, yes, that's my capo, that's it. So I'll put it on I'll put it on the neck. So this is just to give you the hunch of what are we going to do with the theme. We're going to be in open D, right? So the capo is on the strings, and my main kind of tip about this, I think I have a better angle for this. So my recommendation is to put the capo very, very close to the fret, right? So not on the fret, just a little bit behind, and that's where it sits the best, in my opinion. So let's see how accurate this is if I put it on those of you who are having your guitars in your hands, just play the G chord. Let's see if we are in tune. For me, this sounds perfect. What happens with capos is that if the radius of your neck, most of the guitars nowadays, no, I'm not sure flat tops, but most acoustic guitars, modern acoustic guitars, have this kind of radius here. So the fretboard is a little bit bowed, right? So it's not totally flat like on classical guitars, which means that even the capos are a little bit angled, right? So they're not totally straight, the part that comes on the strings. So this black one, this capo, is so-called art capo, and I have a website that I will show you some things that make this capo very, very specific and special. But I put my oldest G7 capo on the guitar, and it intonates perfectly. But why it does that is because this guitar has impeccable setup. It's made by Michael Sandman and by myself. Yes, David, it's a G7 capo. I see your question over there. So if you see it from this angle, it's the beefy one. It's one of the biggest from the beginning, and I've used it for ages. The system for this capo is a bit different from new ones, because this one is released by pulling this little handle into the back, and then it's released, right? But then I put it back, I just press it together as much as I think it's necessary, and we're back. It's a perfect intonation, and the intonation is good with this old style capo because the radius of this, the way how the capo is bowed, is the same, almost maybe the same as the neck itself. Let me see, I'll try to be, yes, yeah, okay. Now you can see it's a bit bowed, and this is a rubber underneath here, which means a rubber is partly adjustable. It can be adjusted a little bit to your strings. So if I keep it like this closer to the camera, you can maybe see that it's quite worn out, and no, it's been used for ages. But the new capo, the art capo, it's smaller. It opens up on the other way around. Let's put it like this, right? So you put it in, put it on. Let's see the intonation on this one. I didn't press enough, right? perfect again. So this one is released by pushing this little handle inwards like this. So you just pinch it like this and you release it from the strings. You can move it somewhere else, put it behind the nut, whatever you want to do, right? That's it. But the difference between this one and the old one is something that I'll show you now. So what is art? You can find this on G7's homepage, so I'm not going to go through all small details, but it's very significant that these are the moving parts within the capo. And what they're doing is they're preventing the problems that arise when you have a capo that has a fixed shape, thickness, whatever, and then you put it on different guitars where the guitar, in this case, the fretboard is almost flat, and in this case, it's very curved, which means the capo will, in this case, be very flat, which means it will press too much over here, but not enough on the edges, on the sixth and the first string. And on the contrary, on this one, since the capo is curved, it's going to press too much on the basses and on the treble strings, quite a lot on the second and the fifth string, and very little on the third and the fourth string. So tell me, Thelonious, your question was why your guitar is not intonating well with the capo, and you said it was sharp when you put it on the third fret, which I also did on my guitar, which says, well, it can be two explanations. One, that the guitar setup is not really perfect, and the other one, that the radius of your neck is not matching the radius of the capo. So what the art capo does is that it has these moving parts inside, and they adjust to small nuances. It will not cure a neck that's really, really very round, and all of a sudden you're going to get this capo. But it does, if you put it on a fretboard that's very curved, then this part here would kind of give in a little bit. It will just, okay, I'll let you kind of go up, and then it will move the pressure from the strings where there's less string pressure from beneath. Or let's put it this way, if it senses that the string is quite close when you press it, it will move these small rolling parts towards the parts of the whole area where it doesn't sense any strings. So I don't know, of course it's not a living mechanism. This is nothing AI, artificial intelligence. No, it's totally mechanical, but it works. It's just perfect. So what I have here is also another guitar that I'd like to show you, and that's going to be an acid test for this capo thing. So let me see, maybe you will be able to hear this now. So this guitar has the neck that's a bit more round than the other one on my regular guitar. So I'll take this old capo and put it here. So this guitar is in open D, in this kind of Hawaiian open D tuning. Let me see. I'll just press it lightly. Let's see. You see, this string is buzzing. Let's press a little bit more. Not really good. So let's see if Art Capo would do the better job. Third fret again. See what happens here. Yes, it does. It's better, right? Oh, I like that sound. I forgot that I had a tremolo on. Yeah. Okay, I proved my point, which means that I got this good intonation and even pressure on all strings. And I didn't even think about that the capo is a bit too high up. I think I should have put it a little bit further down, but no, I mean this neck is quite narrower than my average guitar, so I think it's okay. It's fine. Yeah. Need to press it just a little bit more. Let's move it a little bit further up, like this. So you see, I'm very, very close to the edge here. So capo shouldn't be put this way. Let's see. Still perfect. So yes, we'll have to give it to the G7. It's an amazing capo. It does its job, which means that these rubber parts here are a bit moving, and there is some magic underneath there, which means that they will give in when needed and press when needed. That's it. Nice. All right, let's change the guitar. Right, so yes, David, it was a G7th, and Patrick says, tremolo very ricootery. Yeah, it is. Especially when you play it in open D, it's like, ooh, ricooter. Good. So this angle to my left hand is quite okay to show you these basic things that I mentioned last week when we spoke about open G. So it's the same thing in open D. So which means if I want to play notes on the first string, I would always go quite low with my slide. I would not even go to the height of the second string. It's all the way down here. Now I've played the 5th fret on the second string, which is the main note of the D, open D, right? The note of D. So we have 3 D notes in open D. First string, 4th, and the 6th. Then we have A on the second string and on the 5th. And then we have 1/3 on the 3rd string, which is the note of F sharp. So what I'm doing here is that instead of playing the first note there, I choose to play it on the 5th fret on the second string. And that's because I want to give it some nice vibrato. So the first thing is this vibrato. So if I turn my guitar neck like this, you will see that my vibrato is, if I move a little bit further, so. So I'm moving the slide sideways, maybe 1-2 millimeters to each of the sides of the note. So the note is on the 4th fret, and right. So my movement is in my elbow and the forearm. They're all in one block. So that's what I'm doing. So, and the thumb is behind the neck, right? It's down there, and I'm just vibrating left, right. The slower I vibrate, the smaller the movements are. If I want to vibrate faster, then I can go wild and go a little bit further back and forth. I never play like that, but just to prove the point. But usually, and the best way to make sure you're intonating right is just to follow it with some of the basses like that. So that's the vibrato. When it comes to the angle, here I'm totally flat towards the strings. And if you're seeing the slide and a finger, I'm not even close to the 3rd string. I'm only on the, there. On the 2nd string. Now, pay attention, please, to what I'm doing with my 1st string. I'm touching it and dampening it with my middle finger here. So the index finger is picking the note. And then I'm also dampening behind the slide, and I'm also touching the 3rd string so that I get this, so that string is not audible. Just to make sure that I'm getting the right intonation, right string picked, and that's just that technique. Because if you don't dampen the 1st string, then you might get this. You see? Just a little bit in traces somewhere there, but it's a bit dissonant. So I'm just making sure that if I want to play only that really clean note on the 5th fret, then I make sure that I really dampen the 1st string and the 3rd string behind the slide. What this kind of control over your slide does is that you can then easily just move to the chord, let's say on the 5th fret, like a, right? So the control is that you don't press too much. Of course, first of all, the guitar needs to be really well adjusted, the setup needs to be okay, and the string gauge. On this guitar, I have 16 on the 1st string, 18 on the 2nd, and then the rest of the strings are from D'Addario chromes, light set, like 23, 32, 42, 53, I think. And these strings are, when I say chromes, which means that they're not only chromed, so that they're nickel wound or chromed, but they're also very flat wound. They are smooth to the touch, and they just don't sound too much like on a regular acoustic guitar where you have these wounding around the strings that's making, you know, all those squeaks and all that. So this guitar is made for a setup for live playing amplified. So I'm getting really, really nice amplified tone with So those things that if you're just starting off with a slide, think about the right angle. If you play on the 1st string, just make sure that you angle it a little bit downwards, not too much, because otherwise you will get this fret buzz. Just find that nice balance for your guitar, which is very, you know, unique. depending on how close the string is to the edge of the fretboard. Sometimes those strings are going in like 2, sometimes 3 millimeters, so you need to be very careful. On my this silver tone guitar that I just played for you a couple of minutes ago, those strings are kind of drawn in a little bit more from the edge of the neck, so I need to be careful with that one. But here it's a really nice balance. If I show you like this, you see it's like a 1.5 millimeters maybe from the edge of the neck, so it's like a fretboard, so it's really nice and easy to get that nice angle over there. So, and as soon as I want to play some other strings, I kind of make it parallel to the strings, and always never angle it like this or whatever. I don't do that. There's always this question on workshops. People say, hey man, yeah, you're telling us to do that and keep the slide really straight to the strings and all that, but I've seen Son House playing and Bucka White and some other people, and they had their slide really kind of like this, with this angle and all that. Yes, I said yes, of course, because they would play a single note runs. If they play chords, then they have to be on the same fret, like this, right? But if I want to reach only the, let's say, this note, so I can play it with an angle, like a. Well, I'm not used to that, so I'll have to kind of fake, but basically what I'm doing is that I'm using my right hand to dampen the strings I don't want to be heard, especially if I would. No, it just doesn't work. Also, just to prove the point, right, let's go back to this review. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to be showing you Glory, Glory, Hallelujah with a slide. The same song that we played last week, only in open G then. So let's do this. Okay, just the melody first. So that's the melody. Let's do it with a glass slide. So this is the only way to play it with a nice glide. Or if you just play this note can be also played, and then so the notes are on the on the second fret of the second string. First open second string, then the second fret, then the fifth fret, and then we have the notes on the fourth and the second fret. Open, fourth, 4, 2, open string, or with a finger. On some guitars, it might be difficult to use a slide on a second fret because the action can be quite low. Depends also if your neck is bowed enough, or if it's too straight or even warped, then you're gonna get some buzzing on the first couple of frets when you do these things. So even if you make sure that here on the saddle the action is high, or on the 12th fret, if the neck is not straight and maybe a little bit bowed, which means in this inwards, how can I show that? So the neck needs to be bowed a little bit like this, little bit. So how you check if the neck is perfect, or less perfect, is that you put your thumb on the 12th fret like this. Then you press on the 1st fret with your index, and then check visually exactly above the 5th fret here if there is some space between the lower part of the string and the fret underneath on the 5th fret, right? So in my case, it's 1/2 millimeter maybe. I don't know how much that is in inches, but there's just a little bit. Sometimes they say it should be like your hair, a piece of hair underneath the string and the fretboard. Then it's just perfect. But I keep it a little bit higher than that, so my neck is bowed just a little bit more, and that's because I want to do some runs on the lower frets with the slide. So if I show you the same melody from this angle, so this sounded very clean because I just, forgot about basses, rhythm picking or whatever. I just dampened everything else and just made sure that those notes came out really nice and clean. So I kind of picked with my index finger here, but my dampening came all the way with the thumb, which I usually don't do when I play. Now everything else is dampened, but that string that's ringing, and that's nice, right? But if I would play, and now when we switch to the 4th chord, which should be on the 5th fret, or this form of chord of G. So this is your G chord. On the 3rd string, you press the 1st fret, and then on the 5th string, you have the 2nd fret, right? So if I would just play the melody without the slide, we could have a whole live stream about finger picking patterns between these slided notes and the melody runs. So maybe we'll just extend this basics of how to play slide with those things. So I showed you last time about open G, how to get those notes. I completed with some nice tips when it comes to in open D. Similar licks, but we're playing the same melody basically. But then when it comes to this moving parts with your basses and just making sure that it gets to this nice and flow with some rhythm patterns and the melody lines and all that. So this one live stream is definitely not enough for open D. So I think we'll save the next week for the more intricate patterns when it comes to basses and the chords. So another thing that's really important with when we talk slide melodies and all that is that you understand how important and uniquely you all gliding movements with the slide are. I can show you something that I maybe came up with when I was playing this song for many years, and you can play the same thing, same kind of movement with the slide and all that, but it's still going to be you. Because this little detail of when you start picking the note, when you start gliding with the slide, let's say, So if you choose to play, you know, gather like 3 slide players and show them this phrase, and they're going to play differently. So don't be afraid of kind of imitating to start with. No matter if it comes, you know, if it's me showing you stuff, or you're seeing some other guitar lessons online, or you're buying a course from somebody, just imitate to your heart content, because very soon, as soon as you master the technical part, you'll be able to give it your own little stamp, because we are so unique, especially when it comes to playing slide. When it comes to playing fretted notes, and maybe some fingerstyle arrangements and all that, sometimes it's easy to sound like everybody else. But slide, that's why I love slide so much. Slide is very, very unique. It's very personalized, and it comes, trust me, it comes right from your heart. Those notes. I think I'll leave it with this. So this melody, when I change to the 4th chord, is very similar to when I showed you in open G. So sorry. So the melody of this is just, I'm playing it on the 2nd and the 3rd string, so 5th, 7th, 5th, 5th, and then open 2nd string. But if we play with a slide, and then glide from between the 5th and the 7th fret, and then we move my picking fingers to the 4th and the 3rd string, and then I usually play like the bass and so bass, 3rd string, and this string. And there's a little this thrill, like a, I'll make it like a triplet. Play the bass first, and then the 3rd string, then the 2nd. So the whole phrase is, so this is also, I wouldn't say unique for me. It's just that I choose to play this way. It's like, so I just have one pick on when I'm gliding from the 5th to 7th. Sorry, from the 7th to 9th fret. So I glide downwards all the way to the maybe 2nd and then to 4th. Right? And then I hit the note of E on the 5th string. And then we go back to D. Because this melody is followed by the chord of A. Chord of A here. A7. So it's on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then you have the 3rd string on the 1st fret, open 2nd string, and then fretted on the 2nd fret on the 1st string. Corresponds to the 7th fret on all strings. right. So let's leave it there. I've shown you the melody on the first part, in the first part in this open D tuning. I've shown you the chords. I've shown you which bass notes are, get to play with those notes in between, but I haven't gone 100% into the rhythmical pattern with finger style together with this melody. Why don't we just leave it for the next week? That'd be nice. One lesson a week, and maybe if you just use the rest of this week to go through the basic melodies so that you are familiar with where the notes are, and then we'll just add some rhythmical part to those next week. And I'll start with just showing you the rhythmical part without playing the melody, just kind of going through the chords for this. And then when you master that as well, then it's going to be quite easy to just play the melody line and then actually play the rhythm, the rhythmical part, in between the melody lines while you're maybe vibrating the string. A very short demonstration of that is like a, let's see, so basically that's where it comes into the pattern, and that's where the rhythm is going. But then you wait until you start the melody, and then the rhythm is played much more sparingly, which means you don't have to just keep that bass going all the time. And that's the beauty of it, because you can then, syncopate, play like licks in between the melody lines and all that. That's the beauty of, being able to vibrate with a slide and then do something in between, right next to it or before that. And yeah, it's going to be great. Let me see if I missed any chat actions. Thank you, David. I enjoyed it. Why is your comment so small? No, it's not. It's okay. Good. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much. All right. Tommy joined us today for this thing with the capo especially. And I'm glad you found it interesting. And it's great for me as well to just prove the points, and not because I want I need to be right about things, but it's really like the G7th is marketing their stuff. It really does what it says, and it's a great capo. I think David have bought the capo, right? Or not? No, you bought the slide. You bought the diamond bottleneck slide. That's right. Good. All right, guys. So if there's nothing else, no questions in the chat, I'd like to thank you for coming today. It's been a blast as usual. So I'll be back next week, next Monday. Don't forget about that. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. It's going to be great. Tom says, a couple of years ago you made... Whoa, what's this? Still your tunes. Okay, write it again. There were some typos there, Tom. Tom is in Spain, right? So I guess it's very hot over there. All right, but I'll be happy to see you next week again. Have a great, healthy, and safe week, as Tom Buck says in the end of his podcast or live streams. And I really hope to see you next week. All right, guys. Have a good one.
was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Things could call me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, thought I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, and I don't worry,